Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. CM Punk fulfilled his dream of headlining WrestleMania at the event's 41st edition, where he took on Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in a triple threat match. However, the night ended on a disappointing note for him as he failed to secure the win. Rhea Ripley has now reacted to Punk finally getting to main event mania. The Second City Saint had lots going for him heading into the show of shows. With Paul Heyman in his corner, CM Punk had the sharpest mind in the business to guide him in his first ever Mania main event. However, neither he nor the fans could have foreseen what would transpire at WrestleMania 41. Not only did the wise man first betray Punk and pretend to align with Roman Reigns again, but he also showed his true colors by siding with Seth Rollins in the end, by giving him a chair to take his opponents out. Following the loss and the shock betrayal, new footage of Punk has emerged from the ring, where he could be seen mumbling about finally getting to headlining Mania. Rhea Ripley, one of WWE's most beloved babyfaces, has now reacted to the same clip with an emotional response. Check out her reaction here. Like CM Punk, Rhea Ripley will also compete in a three-way match at WrestleMania 41's Night 2, where she challenges Io Sky for the Women's World title in a clash also featuring Bianca Belair. Arbit Shrivastava is a journalist who reports on pro wrestling WWE at Sportskeeda. He is also an assistant content manager for the AEW team and has played a pivotal role in building it from the ground up. Arbit graduated in political science and mass communication. From writing for his college magazine, while being a huge wrestling fan, to pursuing journalism as a career, he has accumulated 5 years of experience in the industry. During the course of his career, Arbit has written nearly 4K articles, garnering over 32 million reads. Besides covering the latest stories in the world of pro wrestling, Arbit mentors several up-and-coming writers and is also responsible for assembling a stellar team for Sportskeeda's all-elite wrestling division. Arbit gives utmost importance to fact-based reporting as he sources information only from reliable outlets. He believes in providing relevant information to readers, allowing them to form their opinions based on legitimate facts. Among Arbit's favorite wrestlers is MJF. He admires the Wolf of Wrestling for his cool, anti-authoritative attitude on television. Arbit is also fond of Sami Zayn's never say die approach and underdog persona. In the women's division, he looks up to Becky Lynch for her sheer aura. WrestleMania 41 was billed as the grandest stage of them all, and it delivered on every ounce of hype. Pyro, surprises, emotion. But one of the most gut-wrenching moments of the night came when CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, suffered a devastating loss in his long-awaited return to the show of shows. For fans, it was a dagger to the heart. For CM Punk, it was the closing of a chapter he'd waited nearly a decade to write. And for fellow superstar Rhea Ripley, it was something more personal. Shortly after the bell rang and Punk lay defeated, his eyes glazed, his fists clenched, and the stadium both cheering and mourning, Rhea Ripley broke her silence backstage in an exclusive moment caught by WWE digital cameras. And her reaction was everything fans didn't know they needed. Ripley, just minutes removed from her own dominant title defense earlier that night, was seen standing backstage watching Punk's match from the monitor. Arms crossed, clad in her black leather gear, and the Women's World Championship still slung over her shoulder. Her face shifted from anticipation to disbelief as the referee's hand hit the mat for the third time. A rare silence filled the gorilla position. When approached by a crew member for a quick reaction, Ripley didn't give the usual post-match soundbite. Instead, she paused, took a deep breath, and then said simply, "We all felt that loss. That wasn't just Punk's match. That was all of ours. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't theatrical. But it was real." Rhea Ripley has become one of WWE's most powerful and layered characters, the Nightmare, the Eradicator, the dominant Queen of Raw. But she's also someone who deeply respects the grind, the story, and the legacy that wrestling builds across years, even decades. And she's made no secret of her admiration for CM Punk. In interviews over the past year, Ripley has cited Punk as someone whose intensity and truth-telling shaped her own attitude in the ring. He wasn't afraid to be hated or loved. He just was, she once said in a 2023 interview. That's the energy I channel when I walk through the curtain. So when Punk's return fell short of a fairy tale ending at WrestleMania 41, losing clean after a brutal 25-minute war with Seth Rollins, it hit Ripley hard. It's not about wins or losses, she said later in a digital exclusive clip. It's about what you leave behind. And he left it all out there tonight. Let's not forget, CM Punk's comeback to WWE in late 2023 was one of the biggest returns in wrestling history. The shock of hearing Cult of Personality again, the pop in Chicago, the tension between him and the new generation, it was electric. But it was also risky. He returned to a locker room that had evolved without him. A company now guided by Triple H instead of Vince McMahon. And a fan base that loved him, but expected greatness instantly. And for all the build-up, WrestleMania 41 didn't crown him a winner. Instead, it reminded the world that in wrestling, the journey matters more than the destination. Rhea Ripley echoed that exact sentiment. You don't always get the fairy tale. But if you can make people feel something, even in a loss, that's bigger than a belt. That's bigger than a win. What's fascinating is how Ripley's reaction says more about WWE's modern locker room than anything else. There's a sense of shared respect now, veterans and rising stars lifting each other up, not fighting for scraps or airtime. Punk's return wasn't met with jealousy. It was met with curiosity, admiration, and even inspiration. Ripley, who has already etched her name in history with her reign as Women's World Champion, clearly sees Punk's journey as symbolic. He showed us that it's never too late to bet on yourself, that it's okay to walk away when you need to, and that when you come back, you do it your way. She then added, he didn't need a win tonight to prove that. The fight said it all. CM Punk may have lost at WrestleMania 41, but something about the aftermath feels unfinished. The crowd was still chanting his name. Rollins, even in victory, looked almost conflicted. And Punk? He took the loss like a warrior, leaving the ring slowly, head held high, mouthing the words, I'm still here. Backstage, there was a brief handshake between Ripley and Punk, caught on camera, but not broadcast. She whispered something in his ear. Fans may never know what she said, but judging by Punk's reaction, a small, exhausted smile, it meant something. As for Rhea Ripley, she continues her reign atop the women's division, but her words show she sees the bigger picture. She's not just defending titles. She's carrying the torch for a generation that believes in respect, redemption, and wrestling with heart. WrestleMania 41 will be remembered for many things, but for those who live and breathe wrestling, not just the spectacle, but the soul of it, CM Punk's loss and Rhea Ripley's raw, human reaction may end up being the most defining moment. Because in wrestling, sometimes the most powerful story isn't about the winner. It's about who shows up, who fights through the pain, and who stays standing when the lights fade. Rhea Ripley said it best. Punk didn't lose tonight. He reminded us why we love this. And that's bigger than any WrestleMania moment. One man lost. One locker room rose. And one champion reminded us all what this business is really about. Let me know if you want this turned into a mock WWE.com article, a promo script, or even a voiceover style piece.